Welcome back everyone. So today we're going to be talking about fractions in TI84 plus CE. So whether you are a middle school student or high school student, hopefully you have to know a lot of fractions. You have a lot of fractions in your questions. So today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to help you to explore all the fraction components in TI84, which are 4 of them. So if you go to math, and then you'll see the last column is basically the fraction, and if you go to 1, we'll see the most basic fraction. So this is a basic fraction containing a denominator on the top and a denominator on the bottom. So for instance, if I have a 5 and 8, it will basically give us 5 and 8. And if I have something else, like a larger number, for instance, we have a, let's say, if we have a number like this, it will actually help us to simplify it. So this is pretty good tool, no matter you are adding fractions, subtracting fractions, or working with fractions, or you just want to simplify this. Basically, this function helps you a lot. So if you want to simplify to the simplest form for better calculations, you definitely should consider using this tool. So you can also do adding another fraction, but it can be a little bit tedious to do. For instance, at 5, 3, now you can plus, or you can multiply, you can subtract, so on and so forth, but you have to go on again. So you may want to consider adding this, which is a mixed fraction we are going to go through very soon. And you also have the normal one. So for example, if I want to plus, so I don't have to change any base. They will change for me and actually simplify for me, which is 39 over 40. So it's pretty convenient, isn't it? So this is why why we like this a lot. So now we want to explore the second function, which is our mixed fraction. Mixed fraction is basically the same thing. Consider it's the same thing with your normal fraction. It's just an evolved version of it. So basically, in the mixed fraction, they have a number in front. With a number in front, it basically means, for instance, if I have this, I think you guys will understand what does it mean. How do you convert it to a normal fraction? It is basically this. So if you just type in a mixed fraction, it will convert it, which is something that you actually can do easily manually, which is actually this number, denominator times the coefficient, plus the number here. So it's a here, and your times multiply 3 multiplied by a gives you 24. 24 plus 1 gives you 25. So the final answer is 25 over 8. So this doesn't make any help, but it definitely may help when you want to do some addition. For example, you may want to add let's say a pretty ugly number that's pretty hard to simplify like this. Something like this, you may want to consider adding another ugly number like this. Ugly number like this. So then you'll give you answer in the fraction form, which is pretty convenient, and it is the simplest form. So in the exam, if you ask you to, if you want to express it in fraction, you always have to do it in the simplest form. Calculator does it for you. You don't have to do it manually. Don't have to try different multiples to see if you kind of narrow it down after some division. So it's kind of a good cheating tool. Don't you think so? Okay, so these are our first two functions, and the third fraction is pretty easy. Basically help us to convert a fraction into decimal form. So for instance, if I tell you something that is not decimal, which can be, let's say, for instance, at this 4 over 2. So 4 over 2, everybody knows it's basically 2. But if I use this, so it's 4 over 2, but if I use this fraction here, if I use this here, you will kind of convert it for me, but it doesn't really help. It'll give us 2. But if I have something like this, for instance, it's a pretty ugly number. Sorry, I'll do it in a new fraction. For example, let's say its ugly number is something like this. I'll use this. So for example, it's pretty hard to analyze this, pretty hard to get the answer is this. And you want it to be a decimal number. What you do is easy. You first have to, you'll first return you with the simplest form of the fraction, and then you just have to go to fraction, go to this third fraction, and boom, it gives you the decimal result. And now lastly, final Mentum, we have number 4. Number 4 is basically something that help us to, something that is helping us to make some number and transfer it into a mixed number. So if I have something like this, it's not going to be helpful. It's not helpful. For instance, if I have this, if I have something like this, the last function isn't helpful for me. Number 4 isn't helpful for me because it will return the same result. It will give me the same result. This is only helpful if I have a mixed number. For instance, if I have a number like this, I have this number here. For instance, I have, I have this number, and I want to do a conversion. If I do a conversion, I go to number 4, and actually you will convert this to me back to this. So what does it mean is when you have a number, actually the meaning of this, the use of this is the last one is when you have something which is not a mixed number form. Sorry, I did something wrong here. For example, if you have something like this, which always the fundamental principle, the requirement is the numerator to be larger than the denominator. This is why you can be transferred and converted into a mixed fraction with a number in front of the fraction. So in this way, you can actually simplify your fraction to make it look better, or the purpose sometimes to change it to a mixed fraction is for better calculation where you have the coefficient in front. So now I have this number, and since the denominator, which is 133, is definitely larger than my denominator, which is 8, I can definitely apply my number 4, the UD or UND fraction, so it will turn me into a mixed value, mixed fraction. If you add it, if you kind of verify 16 times 8 plus 5, it gives you 133. So it basically helps you to simplify into the simplest mixed number form for your fraction. So this is pretty much about that. So that is about it. So these are the 4 different explorations that I hope you guys understand, and it could be pretty useful for you when you do some fractions. It is pretty easy and straightforward. So this is the end. If you have any questions, please comment below in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.